welcome, Bimbo.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So I've been having some questions around friendship. Yeah,
Okay.
and I personally have been feeling like the older you get, the harder it becomes to make friends.
Okay.
And what's your thought on that issue?
Well, I would say one of the things that makes it feel like it's something hard to do is as we grow, especially you know how that there's always this group chat from secondary school,
Yeah,
and then there's that one person that is always like everybody's now proud, we've outgrown each other, cannot
on every
respond.
group. Yeah, sure.
And they're supposed to always respond to every message. Like, it's not like it's pride, but it just happens to be that even as we grow,
Yeah,
we get exposed to different things,
yeah,
environment, sometimes work schedule,
yeah.
sometimes belief system and shared ideologies and everything. So I
Yeah.
think those are basically one of the things that makes it feel like making friendship work as an adult is quite hard stuff.
For you, if you're to look at for let's say you're looking forward to having a friend, what are those qualities that you would see that are like when you see this person, you're like, this is the kind of person I want to be friends with. What are you want to keep the person. So what qualities are you looking out for?
So I think I must have mentioned this in here of my discussion.
Yeah.
I like when you have sense.
Everybody likes sense.
Like you're making lots of sense. I mean, okay, so I'm saying a person that maybe because of my religious beliefs,
Yeah.
I feel like I just owe it to everybody to, let them have a taste of me and not just, be like, okay, because we don't think alike in this way, so I should just create this box around how much of me you get.
Right.
So generally, I think I should be that person you can walk up to, have
Regardless,
discussions.
even if we don't have anything in common.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
but then my core,
Okay.
like, I do this because these are the people I'll be, in quote, feeding off, yeah, at, certain junctures in life. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm creating systems where, I am intentionally knowing the kind of people that I would in turn get from.
Yeah.
I can't carelessly choose those kind of
Sure.
people. So I do it intentionally that, I make my friends intentionally. They might not be so much, but then things I look out for,
Sense.
yeah, our religious beliefs.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to be speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the same level. I mean, we're all growing, and
Yeah.
then we're not striving.
Yeah.
We're growing towards perfection and all
Sure.
of that. So maybe not on the same level, but I want
At
to be sure
least.
that the things you'll be offering me and things I'll be offering you, we're saying and we're in sync with,
Speak the same language.
yes, our belief systems also. So I'm not so big on culture like that.
Why? Or maybe explain what you mean by
Yeah, like I don't share a bias when it comes to
So-
making friends based on
based on
cultural
tribe?
Yes.
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, Igbo, Alpha. I don't have an Alpha friend. I think I should have one. Yeah.
Do I
So,
have one? I don't think I have one.
Are they scars?
I don't know. Now that we're
That's
thinking
true.
about it, like,
I'll start
do
like
you even have outside my department? I'm not sure.
they're scars. They have Alpha. I think they might not.
I mean, I know people who probably have stayed in the north and can speak Hausa and then they're friends. But I don't think I have a friend that is maybe Dan Lade. That's
Maybe
actually
Daudu.
Hausa. Is Daudu Hausa though?
I think so.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Ah, well, I have this. I'm supposed to think. I have this friend. It's so sweet. We're so close.
Okay, so probably when we're looking for Hausa friend, probably look for someone that's selling
In
suya.
fact, the guy has been so good to me.
This one not even get free suya. You're getting free suya.
But I mean, it's good. So yeah, all of those and more good stuff.
Okay. In your past, let me say, friendship race, have there been anyone who you would say probably had a bad influence on you? Like, your friendship with them was probably the worst. Would you say something like that ever happened?
Okay. I can't really think about one particular particularly, but I feel like I've encountered people
Yeah.
that, upon hearing them talk, first, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth
Speak it, sure.
So, upon hearing the things they say, how they approach situations and respond and react to situations,
Yeah.
I can tell that, this is someone that unconsciously for them though would not have the kind of impact that shapes in my life. So I think I've had those people. I mean, and funny thing about things like that is you never see them coming.
I never see you coming.
They just creep in and you just notice start using swear words. Start getting very complacent about some things. I mean, until it feels like someone that shares your kind of value now comes around.
That's when you begin to notice,
Wow.
okay, I've actually drifted away.
Yeah, and they are becoming lax. So I think I've had such people. And one thing I learned is you cannot always run away from them.
Okay.
I mean, you could have some as, relatives, family.
Right, you can't run away from your
Yeah,
family.
you can't run away from them. So you just have to be able to be with them and not be with them. You can love them. It's one thing I've had to learn.
Okay.
You can love people without being compelled to, force a kind of cohesive bond with them. It's what you
So
owe
it's
to
not like
every
you have to
human.
learn their values. You just have to learn to live with them without
Yes.
learning their values. Without
Exactly.
without becoming them.
It's like building adaptive structures. So having to live with them. I mean, if I have to live with this person, especially for quite a very long time,
Yeah.
there are some things you need to start having to, learn,
Yeah.
unlearn, and
Yeah.
everything. So it just taught me the basic thing. I can't always run away.
So if you can't always run away from people, that means you've grown to probably set boundaries around certain people, right?
Yes. Definitely.
So how do we set boundaries in relationships?
But I'm going to talk about.
Right.
I didn't start out knowing how to set boundaries, and I think one of the things that made it a little bit hard for me when it comes to setting boundaries is
Yeah.
I used to think that because Christ would have us love everybody, so it
Right.
just means I'm open to
Everybody, whatever thing they do,
Right.
just stick
bring
it
them
in.
in. I had to learn. Like, I like you, but there are some things that need to happen for some things to happen. Not everybody can come trooping in, especially all at once.
Yeah.
So we need to intentionally subject some things to time.
Okay.
We need to subject some things to lots of check and balance.
Right.
I mean, it could be the conversations, the quality of the conversations you have. Sometimes it could be the coincidence that brings you guys together, or the circumstance.
Sure.
There's some kind of, it's something almost everybody should relate to. There's some kind of friendships that you didn't start out as, okay, I want us to become close over time.
Well, over time you grew.
Yeah, but then things happened, and then 1 and 2 led to each other, and then you became close.
Sure.
So I actually intentionally put boundaries. I mean, it's like the core, like I once mentioned earlier. There's the core, and there's just the general people. You know how you have friends, but then when you sit down, you're like,
I
do
don't
I really have
friends.
friends? Exactly. So yes, it's very important that we draw boundaries, that we create boundaries.
It's when you think about creating boundaries in relationships or friendship, can you think about one friendship that you created boundary in?
Oh yes,
How did the person handle it?
they don't have to know.
Okay, they don't have to know.
Yes, they don't. Because there's a thing with hurting people's ego when it feels like, oh, I'm that kind of person you don't want to roll with.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just what has to give. You can't roll with everybody.
Sure.
But then there is a way you can, and I think it gets harder for people that started out very close and realize that, they need to put certain boundaries to the friendship and all of that. I think that's where it becomes very hard. But for people that you start out placing those boundaries for, I think over time,
Yeah.
they would come
Easy to
around.
balance things.
Yes, I've had to do that
point.
before because it's so funny. Some people say I talk a lot, but some people think that I say less. You know how you can
I think
talk a lot?
I think it's
say
a I
less,
think it's true. Yeah, you talk a lot, but you say less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she says a lot, and in my brain or in my mind, I feel like I should compensate her by saying a lot.
Yeah.
So I just try not to engage her in conversations where she's saying a lot and she feels the need to be compensated by hearing a lot from me.
You too.
So I just exit the group chat instantly, or I just say something to cover up for the things she's saying and help her to know that okay, it's okay. You don't really have to say this just to buttress this, right? So and then sometimes it's good. Push it to her in form of books. Help her to know okay, this is not just about me. I think you should really check this. Talking to people. You don't really have to compensate them by saying so much, or you don't really have to say so much to make a point. So,
but in situations like that, I feel like a number of us, the kind of person I am, I'm someone who, okay, so there are stages to friendship, right? So I'm someone who, if I see you in my inner circle, right? If I can talk to you about deep things, I would appreciate it when I'm saying something and then you can compensate. Sure, you get. Yeah. So it makes me not feel burdensome. Like I'm not boring you or giving you too much of me. And it also makes me feel like, okay, you also trust me as much as I trust you. That's how I feel. But now I've gotten to realize that there are certain times when I'm just the one thinking that, okay, we are that close. And then you are not thinking that we are that close. And I feel like that causes a lot of mishaps in relationships because you are assuming that we are in the inner circle and then this other person just sees you as a casual friend. So things like that can cause conflict. Yeah. So when it causes conflict, how can we resolve it? How do you think we should resolve those kind of? Because it's happening. I'll break your head because if you are doing that with me, if I consider you to be my inner circle, and I'll break your head. I'm not violent.
I think I can relate.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the key word. You said inner circle.
Yeah.
I think there is always that point where we get to in making friendship that the closeness is always consensual.
Okay.
You know we're close, and I know we're close.
Yeah.
So that settles that.
Yeah.
And then for some people where they just like you and they want to be so close, and you just feel like this is not what I want with this person. Okay, so I think I've been in that shoe, as a one-time leader in my church.
Yeah.
Where I've had to, relate with a lot of people on a whole lot of level.
Yeah.
And to some people who are pretty close.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, we're close, but not that close.
Right.
So I think one of the things that has helped me is to understand that I can be all things to all men.
Okay.
Depends on what the situation warrants.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that also defines such friendship is what follows, what comes after.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to not saying much, you mentioned that in a friendship you don't want it to look like it's one-sided,
Sure.
where one person is giving more than the other when it comes to information.
Yeah.
So for me, what I do is when I know that you are giving, I give as much as I think I can give. There's a way you can say something without saying it all.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see that on the long run, even as much as people feel like they need to be reciprocated with a piece of you just for them to get comfortable, you would see that on the long run, they might not be able to handle as much
as a piece of, they might not be able to handle the piece of you.
Yes, because there are some kind of scenarios that should be created for a healthy friendship. Imagine if, as a leader, that I'm supposed to, be helping people and growing people, I now end up saying too much. You know, it puts me in a spot where, as much as, you know, humans need to know that their leaders are humans too, and they are not flawless.
Sure.
It puts you in an unsafe spot to know that you are this flawed.
Okay.
Exactly. So at that moment, it might pacify them that they know this much about you. But trust me, on the long run, they would not get comfortable with, you know, coming to you thinking that you can solve their problems, because they have seen you
They've seen your flaws.
This much.
Wait, I really want this to end soon. So does that mean that leaders can't have genuine friends that care about them?
Oh, they do have. They have them in their numbers. So that is why I think people need to, leaders first, need to understand that just like every other person, not everybody can be inside, not everybody can be hearing. You know,
Right.
It's normal. I mean, I feel like because they are leaders, just put them in, you know, in the spotlight and in
Sure.
a hot spot. But definitely, you can't always have everybody knowing and have everybody hearing. It's normal.
Yeah.
It just puts them in that way because they are leaders and every other thing. So they have friends. They have very good friends. They have close friends. In fact, if you come close to them, you'll find out, I mean, these are the things that go on in their lives and they're humans.
Right. All right. So before you go, do you have any word you would like to tell the audience?
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, God is my opinion. I like people and I don't know how to say it. Without, you know, there are days I have a very bland face. But then one thing I would say is
There are days, lots of days.
I don't know. Okay, so the thing about friendship is, from you know, Grace's last podcast, she said something and it really made sense, and that's it. You're 100%. And one thing I've noticed about this world we're in is people rarely can handle people's 100% because of that, you know. It's either they become too good to be true or overbearing because of your 100%.
Right.
I mean, I've come to that place where, you know what?
Everybody
regardless
rests
of who you are, what you do, me, I'm a good person, and I'm not going to let your inability to handle my 100%.
Me, I've gotten to the point where I'm saying everybody rest.
If you cannot handle my 100%, I'm going to give it regardless. So,
all right.
that's it.
Thank you for watching. But everybody rest.